they'll get money in exchange. Okay, so here that satisfied individual and organizational objectives. So now we will learn about rural marketing. So the term rural marketing used to be an umbrella term for the people who deal with rural people in one way or other. It got a separate meaning and importance of their economic revaluation in India after 1990. So what is rural marketing, ma'am? Where the most of our 70% of our country's population is residing in rural areas. So when there is a high competition in the urban, and when there is a saturation, become saturation of products and services, so the business houses will look after for other opportunities, and they will go for rural areas for selling their products and services. So here, rural marketing is defined as managing all the activities involved in assessing, stimulating, and converting the purchasing power of the rural consumers into effective demand for specific products and services, and moving them to the people in rural areas to create satisfaction and a better standard of living, and thus achieving organizational objectives. So why the business houses are looking for rural area? So the customer base is more there, and the potential buyers are there. So previously, when we used to go to our villages, we are not able to find biscuits or milk immediately. If our grandma or grandpa houses have some cows, and then it is available. But if the milk or biscuits or whatever packaged item, most probably we use we we are not able to get when we go there. So, but now the market has grown, and product reach to the rural area also, and the business houses are doing a lot marketing, applying lot of marketing strategies to reach the rural consumers, and that's what the rural marketing says, defined that managing all the activities in assessing, stimulating, and converting the purchasing powers of rural consumers. Okay, so and here the products and services are moving them and the people in rural areas to create satisfaction and a better standard of living. So by using this product, and the rural consumers will get satisfaction, and the better standard, the standard of living will also increase. Okay, so rural marketing plays an important role for business houses when in urban areas the population, when compared to urban and rural areas the population is more. Then so here it is two-way marketing process wherein urban to rural and rural to urban. So major part of the rural marketing includes transactions of urban marketers who sell their goods and services in rural areas, pesticides, fertilizers, FMCG products, tractors, bicycles, consumer durable, etc. Because the main occupation of uh, people in rural areas is farming, okay, agriculture. What is the main occupation of people in rural area? The main occupation is agriculture. So from urban, most of the people, most of the business houses will sell products related to agriculture. Okay, so pesticides, fertilizers, FMCG products, tractors, bicycles, consumer durable, all these are the main products which are sold in the rural market, and which are morely adopted by the rural consumers. Okay, so now what? Then here, urban to rural, these products are sold. Then rural to urban basically falls under agriculture marketing, A rural producer seeks to sell his produce in urban market like seeds, fruits, vegetable, forest produce, spices, milk related products. So the best example is Raitu Bazaar. Raitu Bazaar is in Hyderabad city, and we will get the vegetables, fruits, leafy vegetables, whatever it is there, that will be brought from rural area. So urban to rural, the agricultural products will be sold, and from rural to urban, vegetables for a consumer goods will be sold. Okay. So here there are two marketing process, two-way marketing process. One is urban to rural, and another one is rural to urban. Understood? Why the rural marketing is so important? Why the business houses are giving so much of importance to the rural marketing? So see here, rural to urban includes the activities that take place between two villages in close proximity to each other, like agricultural tools, handicrafts, dress materials, bullock carts, etc. So rural to rural, these kind of activities or these kind of products will be exchanged between one village to another village, or between two villages, and it is more developmental than transaction, as its nature is more socio-cultural and economic as compared to the latter's consumer nature. And the word rural is so much associated with the agriculture and farmers that rural marketing is often confused with the agricultural marketing, but it should not be so, as the latter is only a part of rural marketing. So the major part of rural marketing may be agriculture, but other things are also there, like milk related products. They are selling handicrafts, they are selling bullock carts, tractors, and many products sold in the rural market. Okay, but when we talk about rural market or rural marketing, in our mind we just get that it is agriculture. Okay, so the most of the people who are residing in the village are agriculture based only. So that point immediately comes into our mouth. So how the evolution of rural marketing is happened? The phase one before is mid 1960, from independence to green revolution. The main function is there agricultural marketing, and the major product of rural is agricultural product, and the source market is rural, and the destination market is urban. Source means where we get the product. Destination means where we sell the product. Okay. So in phase one during 1960, from the independence to green revolution, the main function of the rural rural marketing is agricultural marketing, and the major products are agricultural products, and the source of that market, the source of the product or the source of the market is rural, and ultimately the destination is urban. In phase two, it exits green revolution to pre-liberalization period. Okay, then marketing of agricultural inputs, then inputs means then the revolution has been started, and the traditional farming methods are little decreasing. New innovations came into market, and the India is also concentrating more on industrialization during these periods. So what happened in when the industrialization has at its peak stage, so the many innovative products which are related to agriculture farming products are invented, and then the change, the way of doing farming has been changed. The people are shifting from traditional farming to modern farming, where the different tools are using different machines, tractors. Before that, they used to depend upon bullock carts, oxes, cows. With them, they used to do their farming. But after in pre-liberalization period, little development has been happened, and some agricultural user friendly tools have been invented in the market, and after that the tools are also sold for the easy way of doing farming for the farmers. So the marketing of agricultural inputs, then major product is agricultural inputs here, whereas upper you can see in phase one, the major product is agricultural produce. But in second phase, the major product is agricultural input. Then the source of market is urban and the destination is rural. So see phase one, phase two, whereas in phase one, the source, the product source we are getting from the rural and it is delivered to urban. Okay, and the urban people are buying. But in phase two, whereas the agricultural inputs are selling, inputs are the major source, and the major source of that agricultural input is urban, and they are delivered to rural. Understood? Are you able to understand? Hello? Hello, students?
Understood, ma'am.
Uh, okay, next, Monica, Varshini, Srinivas. Okay, three students are there. Fine. So then, Seema in third phase, mid 90s means post liberalization. The third phase is about post liberalization, which is in 28th century. Okay, it is then the function is rural marketing. First one is agricultural marketing. In second phase, we are calling it as marketing of agricultural input, and in third phase, we are calling it as rural marketing. Okay, so the major product is consumable and durable for consumption and production. So here, consumables and durables for consumption and production. Then the source of market now it has urban and rural. Okay, the destination market is rural. So again, if you go through the phase fourth, it is 21st century means now developmental marketing, all products and services here urban and rural, and the source of the product is urban and rural, and destination is also urban and rural. So how can we one of the best example is from urban they are buying tractors, they are buying agricultural farming different tools, they are buying pesticides. So from urban we are getting milk related products, vegetables, fruits, everything we are getting from the rural. So in 21st century, the face of rural marketing has been drastically changed. So the source, both the rural and urban have both sources and destination. Okay, so these are how the rural marketing has been evolution. The evolution of rural marketing has been done. Okay, so the rural marketing in the two things we need to remember here. One is rural to urban and urban to rural. So there are kinds of four kinds of phases: urban and rural to urban. So next one is what are the characteristics of rural marketing. So the first characteristics is large population. Okay, ma? The first characteristic is what? Large population. Okay. Then large population, about 73% of Indian population is in rural India. So here some statistics is also provided. In 19 not means in the year 1901 it is 89%, and then 1951 it is 83%, in 1971 80%, then in 1981 it is 76%, in 1991 74%, and in 2001 73%, and the rural population is migrating to urban more, They are coming for studies, they are coming for jobs, and even some urban areas are also extending their wings to the rural. Okay, so here the population is decreasing when compared to our uh, before independence and uh, after independence. Now in 21st century, the population is decreasing in rural areas because there may be two factors, main factors. One is urban areas extending their wings to the rural areas, and most of the outskirts of our cities or outskirts of our cities are coming into urban areas. And then the second is for on job basis, on studies, on and for the settlement. Most of the rural people are migrating to urban. Okay, so this is one of the major and important characteristics of rural marketing is large population. Okay, so large population. Then second characteristic is occupation pattern. So agricultural and related activities are the major source of income for the majority of the rural population. Okay, and of the 60% of the rural income is from agriculture. So their main income is agriculture. And in the event of crop failures, the income of rural masses is directly affected. So any crop failures, any calamity, natural calamity occurs, then the rural masses is directly affected because the whatever the harvest is there, whatever the agriculture farming is there, it will get damaged due to the natural sudden calamities. And and moreover, our Indian agriculture is depend on rain. So sometimes the rain may delay or overflow or underflow of rains also causes damage to farmer. Means it directly affects the farmers. And the next characteristics is large, diverse, and scattered market. Yes. So there is a large, the rural market is geographically scattered. So in some areas, there may be some only 5 to 10 houses. Again, if we go 2 to 3 kilometers, then we will find some 15 to 20 houses. Then if you go for 2 to 3 kilometers, then you will find some 10 houses or 15 houses like that. So, but in city, we will find a large density of population residing at one place. So, whereas in rural areas, the market is the population is scattered, and also the market is also geographically scattered. So, there may be less number of shops available to market products. Yes. Why? Because the population is scattered, and it is one of the reason that there may be less number of shops available to market products. And then diverse and heterogeneous market in terms of religious, cultural, social. Okay, so diverse and heterogeneous market in terms of religious, linguistic, and socio and cultural factors. So the people who are residing in villages, their psychological or other aspects may make them to reside at one place who are related to their some community or some caste. We will most of the villages we will find the segmentation of people according to their caste, creed, or means on it also depend on religious, linguistic means their language and social and cultural factors. So about 700 million Indians live in 6 lakhs 38 and 365 villages across India. Okay, so our means above 70% of population living in villages. So whenever we so so whenever we go to village, ma, we will find that our whatever our houses, our relative houses are there. So a group of people were residing at one place. Then you may not find other religious people or other caste people that easily. Okay, so they the people have scattered from. So then socio-economic position. So here majority of the people have low purchasing power and per capita income. More than 60% have income less than 25,000 rupees per annum. About 14% have income greater than 50,000 rupees. So there is a low disposable of income. Again, there is low literacy level. It is estimated that rural India has a literacy level of 36% as compared to 62% in the urban areas, because the infrastructure were not so much developed like in urban areas. The schools, colleges, hospitals, roads, everything will be not so much developed when compared to urban areas. So there will be a low standard of living, low income, their low purchasing power if the business houses keep their products for offer their products for selling in rural areas also. The rural people will think to buy or not buy because they are very poor, and they have not that much purchasing power to buy the product and use the product. And overall social and economic backwardness lead to low standard of living, and in general a rural area spends less on non-food items. Okay, food items anyhow they will grow in their crops. They'll grow as crops in their lands, and they will save that rice or whatever grains for whole year. And they used to very, the expenditure they make is very less when compared to urban areas. So generally, backwardness leads to low standard of living and low purchasing power. Their income level is low, and rural consumers also spend less amount on non-food items. Non-food items. See this one. So inadequate infrastructure facilities. Infrastructure facilities like commented cemented roads, warehouse, and communicating systems are inadequate in rural areas. And about 20% of the 6 lakh villages are without telephone facility. Even today also, 20% of 6 lakh villages are without telephone facility, and about 50% of the markets are not connected by road. Most of the roads of the Kutch and become unusable during rainy season. So this is also one of the reasons, inadequate infrastructure facilities. Then traditional out if we see the next side of next characteristics, it is traditional outlook. Villages develop slowly and have a traditional outlook. They accept changes gradually. Immediately they will not change. As whenever a new product enters into the market, urban people will very easily adopt them, and they always want to be newly styled and to make them new. But in rural areas, the people will not as easy. They will accept the changes, but they accept the changes gradually. And the villages near to towns have elements of the urban life. Interior villages are more traditional. So the distance also one of the reasons. So the villages which are near to our urban areas, they have little elements of urban life, but interior villages are more traditional. So who is rural consumer classification? Hmm? The rural consumers are classified into the following groups based on their economic status. They are cash-rich farmers. One is few number. They have affordability. First one is the affluent group. Huh? In affluent group, there are cash-rich farmers. They have large land area, lot of lands, and they'll give on lease to the other small workers. They'll do the work farming in their land, and the rich farmers enjoy the fruit. So they are very few in number. They have affordability but not form a demand based large enough for marketing firms to depend upon. Okay. So wheat farmers in Punjab and rice merchants of Andhra Pradesh fall in this category. Even though the rich farmers, they have enough cash to market their products, but they'll not because maybe low awareness levels. Okay. So the example is wheat farmers in Punjab and rice farmers and rice merchants of Andhra Pradesh fall in this category. Okay. So this is a classification of rural consumer. Affluent consumer is one of the classification where the farmers are rich. They have enough capabilities to earn for marketing the products, but due to the low awareness, they'll not do. They will not interested. Next, the middle class, one of the largest segments for manufacturing goods. Okay, it is fast expanding. Farmers cultivating sugarcane in UP and Karnataka fall in this category. Okay, so one of the largest segment for manufacturing goods. It is fast expanding. And the third segmentation or the third classification of consumer, rural marketing consumer is the poor. The first one is affluent group, the second one is middle class group, and the third one is the poor. So this constitutes a huge segment. Most of these farmers work as laborers in other fields, or they depend on them only for farming. Okay, so they receive grants from the government like Raitu Bandhu we are having in our Telangana state. So whatever they most depend upon the government help. They receive grants from the government and reap the benefits of many such schemes and may move towards the middle class. So Bihar, Orissa, Telangana farmers fall under this category. So these all the in from all three segments, the poor farmers constitutes a huge segment. Okay, so first we need to understand who are consumers. Okay, so the first one is affluent group, the second one is middle group, and the third one is poor group. Okay, understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So SEMA characteristics, the rural customer consumer has a very high involved in any product purchase. Okay, he purchase products more often, mostly weekly, usually in small quantities. He is very you know about Santa. Most people will go Santa on every week in villages. Okay,
Yes,
Santa,
ma'am.
the rural market. So the farmers will mostly they buy weekly whatever their requirements in small quantities. Here, very quickly conscious but value for money of prime importance. So they'll give more importance to the money because the easy flow of money we will not see in the villages. Okay. So for 1 year or for 6 months, they will work in the farming. Then they will get some amount on that farm. Sometimes they get, or sometimes they may not get. Okay, due to natural calamities or due to other reasons, the farmer will get affected. Okay, so He looks more for functionality of the produce rather than frills associated which he cannot use, but for which he will have to pay extra. So he is brand loyal once loyalty form is difficult to dislodge. So once మా బాలమని ఒకసారి మంచి ఊడుసుకో. Hello, ma. So once they have habituated to one brand, so they will be a loyal consumer. So the consumers of rural are more for functionally of the product rather than skills associated. So once loyalty formed is difficult, it is very hard to dislodge them. Okay, so these are the characteristics of rural consumers. So by in spending also they'll spend very less and they will buy the products weekly. Okay, so he understands symbols and colors better and looks for announcement by local leaders or icons. The source of information is critical for him as he is influenced by information received and opinion formed through various resources in his purchasing decision, because most of the village consumers or rural consumers are illiterate and they don't know how to read what is labeling on the product. So what they do, they depend on others' opinion. So if others say that, because of that reason, we will see most of the advertisements coming in the TVs, news channels related to agricultural products. Agricultural products. Agricultural products. So the information received and opinion formed to various resources will lead to his purchasing decision whether to buy or not to buy. So the purchasing decisions are usually taken by the eldest member of the family in villages. Here in urban areas, whatever the kids like or whatever the home wants, the self love for the product is more important given. If you like the product, you will go to the shop and you will buy. Okay. If you don't like the product, you will not buy. But in villages, whatever the elder decided to buy any product, their purchasing decision will depend upon the elder of the family. So brisk buying is done after the harvesting period. So once the harvesting period means the crops, everything, the crops will sold in the market. After harvesting the crop, they'll get some amount and after that they'll do brisk buy and they'll save some money for later use. Okay, in many cases the buyer is different from the user. So buyer is user, the father buys the product and it may be used by the children. Okay, the children may buy some products and it may be used by father. So in many cases the buying, the because the elder of the family has made purchasing decision, he may buy the product for not his or her use but for the kids or any other family member. Understood, ma? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. Next one, Seema, rural employment pattern, male. Agriculture is the share of employment is 75% and the share of employment is 67%. And as of today, the share of employment is 62% and transport and communication, trade and hotels, construction, manufacturing units. So when compared to rural area, the most of the employment is depend on agriculture only. Okay. So because as we all know, the main sources of their occupation or the main sources of their income is agriculture. Okay. So infrastructure is moving rapidly. In 50 years, 40% villages have been connected by road. BSNL have connected Wi-Fi. Airtel moved to the rural area, and communication, infrastructure. Many things have changed. Now the villages, the infrastructure is also improving. So the business houses are looking towards the villages to expand their products, to advertise their products, and to sell their products in villages. So electronic goods or electronic items, after the connectivity of electricity in villages, the usage of electronic items has also been increased. Now we can see every house has refrigerator, whatever the fan, coolers. Some houses may have ACs, but the change we can see easily. So tremendously, the infrastructure is improving rapidly, and the same way, the connectivity of urban and rural has increased. The standard of living is also increasing. The money, the earning of rural people, rural population is also increasing, and the purchasing power is also increasing. So the agricultural and development programs of the government have helped the to increase in income in the agricultural sector by increasing the productivity and better price for agricultural products, thus enhancing the purchasing power in rural market. Okay, so the infrastructure is also increasing. Due to the increase of infrastructure, the rural people are able to move to the urban areas firstly. They are enjoying the infrastructure facilities. Infrastructure facilities. So the potentiality is there. Large population, more than 70% of population is residing in rural areas. And despite the rural urban migration, the rural areas continue to the place of majority of Indians. Then the growth of marketing is also increasing. The market has been growing at a rate of 3 to 4% annually, adding more than 1 million new consumers every year from rural areas. So the means 1 million is not a small figure. Every year, the business houses are adding new customers from rural areas around 1 million. Then growth rate of FMCG market and the durable market are higher in rural areas. And FMCG means fast moving consumer goods. Huh? And the Indian rural market today accounts for about 8 billion FMCG sector, and C durables 5,000 crores, agricultural units 45,000 crores, and 2 to 4 wheelers are also bought by rural people for their convenience traveling. So the rapid development has been taking place in rural areas. Accessibility of markets, the road has facilitated systemized product distribution system to villages, and the various government schemes, toll taxes, all these, what we say, highway development authority, road development authority, the government initiative have increased the infrastructure and the connectivity from urban to rural. The roads have been increased, and due to that, the network has facilitated a systemized product distribution system to villages. An increasing number of companies are supplying villages, and increasing direct contacts to villages help produce promotion and availability of the product in the village drop. So due to high competition in urban areas, now the company saturation, high saturation in the urban areas for the product, the companies are looking towards the rural areas where they are searching for the potential buyers, and they are giving more awareness to the potential by rural areas also. So the rural markets are therefore becoming increasingly attractive in relation to the urban market. Okay, so competition from urban area is also one of the reasons for business houses to shift their, not shift, to expand their wings to the rural consumers, to expand their wings to rural consumers. So government initiatives, credit cards, Kisan credit cards to farmers from the public sector banks, which help them to take short and medium term loans to buy seeds, fertilizers. These enable them to produce more, thus increasing their income. So large inflow of investment for development programs from the government. Schemes like RDP, Integrated Rural Development, just now I told you, Rural Electrification Program in 1970s gave a boost to the agrarian economy. This results in change in people habits and social life. So rural electrician program gave impetus to the development of consumer durable industry. So what are consumer durable industry? Like TVs, refrigerators. So electrification in our rural areas have increased the sales of consumer durables in rural areas. As just now we have learned that about 1 million consumers are increasing in rural areas, adding to the present customers. Okay, so here potential, this is over. Potentiality, large population, growth in market. Okay, just wait. So day by day, the rural consumers are increasing. Now we will learn about challenges for the business houses to market their products in rural areas. What is the main challenges? The main challenge is to understand the rural consumer. Okay, the biggest challenge is to understand the perceptions, viewpoints, and actual needs of the rural people, which is dramatically different from urban people. Okay, so urban people will easily attract. They have inflow of money, and whatever they need, they will buy. But whereas the flow of income is easy in urban areas, because daily income, monthly income, weekly income they'll get. But in rural areas, the main occupations of the farmers is depend on agriculture. When the agricultural products will be harvested, then only they'll get some amount. So in 6 months or in 1 year, they'll get amount after selling their crop. So they have to maintain that amount for whole year or till next crop harvest. So next to harvest. So the purchasing power of rural customers, or the spending money of rural customers is low. So if they actually they don't easily waste their money on non-food items or unnecessary items. So before buying, they'll see all the pros and cons of the good, whether the good is suitable, whether the good is very much necessary, whether the product which he is going to spend the money is useful for him, and the decision to buy that product also will be taken by elder of the family. Once the elder decides, then only the product will be purchased. So, for business houses, it is very difficult to understand the rural consumer. So the biggest challenge for the business house was to understand the perception, viewpoints, and actual needs of the rural people, which is dramatically different from urban people. For example, if we nothing, our mother or our mom has not cooked in our home, immediately what we will do, we'll open Zomato or Uber and we will order the food and we will have that food. But in rural areas, they will not spend like that. They'll think before they will spend. Okay. So whatever they have available at their home, that only they will have. Okay. So why the main reason maybe low per capita income when compared to urban people, the low capita income is there. So India is the third largest now in the world due to a strong economic growth, but still has a low per capita income of rupees 53,331 million. It results in low consumption pattern as compared to the urban population. If you spend a little time with your grandma, grandpa, they will say how they used to spend the money during their days. Okay. Now also, if you are spending money on, they'll scold you. No, you should not waste money. They'll give you a nice class how to spend the money. So there is low literacy level also one of the challenges. There are not enough opportunities for education in rural areas. The lower literacy is low, 36 compared, and the seasonal demand for products in rural areas depend upon agricultural situation, as agricultural is the main source of their income. Agricultural to a large extent depends upon monsoon, and therefore the demand or buying capacity is not suitable for regular products. Okay. So if we introduce our product in the rural market also, the rural population has to understand the product, adopt the product, and it is depend on seasonal demand also. Okay, to buy or not to buy. So it is not as easy to expand the business houses beings in the rural areas, but okay, underdeveloped and poor and underdeveloped market, underdeveloped people and underdeveloped market. Unfortunately, the impact of the technology is not experienced in uniformly throughout the nation. Okay, except some districts in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh, large areas and groups of people have remained beyond the technological breakthrough. In addition, the farmers with small agricultural land holdings have also been unable to take advantages of new technology. Inadequate banking and credit facilities are there. So, one of the main challenges for the business houses to market their products in the rural areas is the understanding level of the rural population is low when compared to urban population. Maybe it may be due to the underdeveloped people and underdeveloped market, and the technology, whatever the technology which is available in the market, is not available in the rural areas also. Still, in most of the rural areas, the technology is not as much as used by the farmers. As just now we told that they are traditional outlook. Due to the traditional outlook of the rural consumers, they are resistant to change. Okay. And life in rural areas is still governed by customs and traditions, and people do not easily adopt new practices. For example, even rich and educated class of farmers does not wear jeans or branded shoes. There is a lack of desire of new things and style. So a jeans company, if they start jeans company in rural areas also, maybe the present now generation will buy the jeans, but older generation they want to stay in traditional outlook only. They will immediate they resistant to change. They will not change easily, and they not adopt new practices easily. Okay, many languages and dialects. The number of languages and dialects vary from the state to state and region to region, and the dress, the food, whatever the customs, the way of living is different. Even though our India is one country, but we find different religions, different languages, different customs, different dresses worldwide by the different villages. Okay, so Indian constitutes recognize 18 official languages. Hindi only has more than 10 variety variations. Hindi spoken in Rajasthan is different from Hindi spoken in Bihar, or Hindi spoken in Himachal Pradesh, or Hindi spoken in our Hyderabad. Okay, so due to these barriers, also it is very difficult to market the product in rural marketing. So these are the challenges of rural marketing. See, barter system, it means exchange of goods for goods. This system is practiced in the developed countries like India. Even today, this is a major obstacle in the way of development of rural marketing. Sometimes for tomatoes, the other, if one farmer is harvesting tomatoes or other farmer is harvesting some other vegetable, they will exchange the vegetable for their use, uh, like exchange of goods and goods. So this is a major obstacle in the way of development of rural marketing. Inadequate media coverage for promotion. So for promotion and for awareness of goods to the rural buyers is also inadequate. Okay. Uh, Televisions made a great impact and large audience has been exposed to this medium. Uh, Reaches large population in rural areas at a relatively low cost. Reach of formal media is low in rural households. So it is also one of the barriers or challenges for marketing products in rural areas, inadequate media coverage and promotion. When the customer will know about the product, then only the customer will be able to buy that product. If we don't know that the Lux soap is available in the market or the Medimix is available in the market, how we can buy that product? You can't buy. Okay, this is done. So the next slide is about cultural factors. Just now we have discussed about cultural factors. So culture is a system of shared values, beliefs, and perceptions that influence the behavior of consumers. Okay, so there are different groups based on religion, caste, occupation, income, age, education, politics, and each group exerts influence on the behavior of people in villages. So vast and scattered market, it is not easy to enter the market and take a sizable share of the market because of its size, variation, and being a very scattered. So the markets are unorganized and dispersed. So this is also one of the challenge of rural marketing, the scattered market, and most of the decisions or the and it is not very easy to enter into the ru- rural market. Okay. Now we are moving to learn the strategies. 4 A's approach. Strategies are 4 A's approach. One is availability, and second one is affordability, third one is acceptability, and fourth one is awareness. Okay. So availability strive to reach at least 13 or 113 villages with a population market regeneration. Introduce small unit packs, okay, small unit packs, and offers products and services that suit the rural market, which are in easy to understand. And one of the contact programs are extremely efficient, educate and try to induce trial. So four ways approach. What are the four ways approach? One is availability, second one is affordability, third one is acceptability, and fourth one is awareness. So to increase the market share in rural marketing, the business houses will make some strategies. Okay. And out of that strategies are based on four A's approach. One is availability. Availability at least means the business houses should strive to make the availability of their product at least to 13 villages where more than 113 population is residing, and introducing small units, because I just before we have learned that the consumers of rural area are buying products weekly in small quantities. So in large quantities, they'll not prefer to buy. They prefer to buy in small quantities, and according to the needs of the rural buyer, the companies has to prepare or introduce small unit packs. Okay. Then offers on products and services that suit the rural market. The offers and offers on products will also attract the rural consumers to buy the product. And as the literacy level is very low, and they will not able to read what is there on the pack, so the companies has to strive how to design the pack. So what contains in the pack should be uh, like some they have to keep their pictures on outer outer pack, and the person, the villager, the village consumer who wants to buy that product, he by seeing only he should know that what the packet contains inside. Okay. For chips, example chips, so the chips pick should be on outer pack. Okay. So these kind of strategies may help the rural buyers uh, to buy the product. If he doesn't understand what the product he is going to buy, he will not buy. Okay. So the product should be easy to understand, and awareness is one of the important factor that should be created to the rural consumers, as there is media reach is very low when compared to urban. So the business houses should adopt some some strategies to extremely efficient awareness programs, contact programs should be given to rural consumers, and they need to educate and try to and to induce trial also. So for a opportunities, the business houses should adopt to increase their market share in the rural market. Okay. Here, melas are places where mela, no mela, Santa in Telugu we will call as Santa. Melas are places where villagers gather once in a while for shopping. Companies can make advantages of such events, huh, to demonstrate the marketing their products. So heart are a good place to create awareness. Heart means we will call our Sunday Eragadda Bazaar as heart. If we go to the village, they will have some Mela or Santa every week. So that place can be used by the companies to advertise their product. So it is, if we see the statistics, there are 42,000 rural hearts which get more than 4,500 visitors per heart. Heart means nothing but Mela or Santa, where on Sundays or some particular weekdays. In some villages, Thursday will be the Santa. In some villages, Sunday will be the Santa. In our Eragada, Sunday is Heart. So there more than 5,000 customers will be visiting that place from each village. So a group of villages or some 5 to 6 villages people will come on that day, particular that day, and they'll do their shopping for their usual needs. So these advantage can be adopted by the companies to advertise their products and to create awareness among the rural buyers. Okay. So next is marketing strategy. Marketers needs to understand the psychological uh, factor of the rural consumers. Okay, psyche. We'll call psyche of the rural consumers. Firm should refrain from designing products for the urban market and then pushing them in the rural market. Okay, they have to design their product in the urban market and they can sell it to the rural market. So utilizing various rural folk media to reach them in their own language. So we will, if we see some movies, we'll see that in bullock carts or in autos, some people are going shouting, advertising about movies, and during the evening, all people will get together. There will be some program going on, dancing, singing. Uh, we find no some Janapada Geetam is going on, some folk dance is going on. So business houses can use these tools to advertise their products and to reach the consumers through folk media, rural folk media, where in their own languages, because in our India there are so many villages are there, and per village the language is different, their style of living is different, their dresses is different. So to reach that, to target those customers, the business houses should look for the rural folk media, and in their own language the product details should be given to the consumer, so that the consumers will easily understand, and the interest may be created among the consumers, rural consumers, to buy the product. Okay, ma? So these strategies should be adopted by the rural consumers. Next, so distribution strategy. Using company delivery vans, melas, carts, and mandis, agri markets, then promotional strategy, reach traditional media from folk dance, audio, visuals, etc. should be used to convey the right message to the rural folk. Forms with which the rural consumers are highly comfortable which should be used. So the rural consumers, the forms in which language they are highly comfortable, in which language they are understanding. So that tool should be used, and as a promotional strategy and distribution strategy, the vans can reach. Okay. So after challenges, we are studying about strategies, how to overcome those challenges. Next, by understanding cultural and social values, companies have recognized the social and cultural values and have very strong hold on the people. It plays a major role in deciding what to buy. Moreover, rural people are emotional and sensitive. Okay, by providing what customer wants, the customer wants value for money. The aim for the basic functionality of the product rather than the frills associated, which would not be much use and will increase the price of the product. However, if the seller provides frills free of cost, they are happy with that. So these kind of strategies should be adopted by the business houses. First, they need to understand the cultural and social values. Not only understanding, the business houses should respect the cultural and social values. For example, if you see Lays or Kurkure, the different flavors, different flavors used by our India, they are advertising those, or they are initiating to launch those kind of products in the market, like Nanika masala, Mirch masala, Tadka, the means the tastes or the variations in the kurkure or lace, we can see onion masti. There are so many flavors. So they are introducing, as these are actually kurkure, these lace or foreign brands, no? So in foreign, the foreign people will not use lot of mirchi or spice. But our Indians, we will like some salty and spices. So according to our taste, the companies are producing or making the goods. So in the same way, when it is compared to urban and rural, the business houses should look after their cultural and social values also. Okay, so because the rural people are more emotional and sensitive, and these all factors should be considered while manufacturing the product or by whatever they are offering the services in rural market. And by providing what actually the customer wants, it is also one of the strategy should be adopted by the business houses. And whatever the frills which are associated, which would not be much use and will increase the price of the product, that frill should be removed. Unnecessarily, the price of the product will be increased due to usage of those frills. So minimum cost, good product, more value, and in small units, that can be used as strategy to attract the rural customers. Okay, if the seller provides frills for free, the rural customers will be happy for small things. They feel so happy once they use the product. If they like the product, they will be loyal for that product. It is very hard for them to leave that product, okay, by associating themselves with India. So there are examples, ma'am. MNCs are associating themselves with India by taking about India, by explicitly saying that they are Indian. MTV during Independence Day and Republic Day time make the long with Indian tricolor. Nokia launched cellular phone Sare Jahan Se Acha. Company are picking up Indian models and actors for advertising and promotions. Indian actors are using for promotions. So even though these companies are foreign MNC related companies, but when they introduce the product in our Indian country, they should and must understand our value, our culture, our social factors, and according on basis of that, they have to produce the product. Okay, understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Seema? It is normal tendency of the Indian try to associate himself or herself with the product. If she can visualize herself with the product, she or he becomes loyal to it. Just now I said the point, no? So that is why FMCG companies usually showcase their products in and around families in their advertisement. So advertisement, while creating advertisement also, they will see that the sentiments of the customers should not be hurt, okay, anywhere. So while advertising, they will means they'll take some cinema actors or and in family kind of environment only they will prepare advertisement and they will show it in the TV. So by giving Indian terms for brands, companies use India words for brands like LG has used India brand name Sampurna for its TV. Okay, Sampurna for its TV. The term is a part of Bengali, Hindi, Marathi, and Telugu also. Telugu, Tamil. Okay, Sampurna. So Sampurna word used LG is a foreign brand, but still when it has introduced the product in India, they used as Sampurna. Okay, brand name Sampurna. So while these all are the uh, strategies or to introduce their products in the rural market. No? So by adopting localized way of distribution, proper distribution channels are recognized by companies. To succeed in India, they have to reach the nook and the corner of the country. MNC shoe giants Adidas, Reebok, Nike started with exclusive stores, but soon realized that they do not enjoy much brand equity in India. And to capture the market share in India, they have to go to the local market, shoe seller with low price product. Okay. So Adidas, Reebok, shoe, they are the big giants in foreign countries. But when it comes to India, it may be adopted. Some of the urban people may be adopting and using those products. But in rural, not it is not easily the rural consumers will attract. So again, they have not directly opened their stores. They have to depend on local seller. If the market, if any chapel shop is in the Amirpet or Jubilee Hills, where we find all varieties of brands, only Reebok or only Bata, that we will not find. Some outlets are there specifically for their brands, but still they have to depend on local sellers. Okay, and low priced product. They have to go for low price product. So by adopting localized way of distribution, can also be reached to the rural consumer. Okay, this is also there. The next one is by effective media communication. This is also one of the strategy where the business houses should adopt. Companies can either go for a traditional media or the modern media or an effective combination of both. So the traditional media include melas, property, folk theatre, while the modern media includes TV, radio, and each of all. Then LIC uses puppets to educate rural masses about the insurance policies. In between such shows, the lights are switched off and a torch is flashed in the dark. Every day stat. So by using effective media communication also, the rural consumer base can be increased uh, by using their own language, by using folk theater, where the rural population can easily understand what kind of product is available in the market, whether the product is suitable for them or not, whether the product is reasonable for them or not. And when they understand the product, when they get some awareness about that product by seeing effective media or effective communication, then the business houses can easily easily introduce their product in the rural market, where the buyers may show some little interest to buy the product. So these are the different media for effective communication or for making awareness or creating awareness for the consumers. Okay, ma? Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. So some of the networthy success stories. See here, Yarada Tashin ad with Amir Khan created universal appeal for Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola India tapped the rural market in a big way when it introduced bottle priced at ₹5 and backed with the Amir Khan ad. Okay. Then in 2000, ITC took an initiative to develop a direct contact with farmers who lived in far-flung villages in Madhya Pradesh. ITC's e-chapel was the result of this initiative. So these are the success stories where the business houses have reached the rural consumers and they have increased their market share in rural area. Okay. In 1998, HUL Personal Product Unit initiated Project Bharat, the first and largest rural home to home operation by a company. The project covered 13 million rural households by the end of the 1999. It had visiting villages across the country of distribution. Some packs comprising like low unit price pack or each of shampoo, talcum powder, small packs were introduced. Toothpaste, skin cream, priced below 15 rupees to create awareness of the company's product categories and affordability of the product. Small unit products like 1 rupee or 5 rupee sachets of shampoo for single use or the small hammam soaps helps in giving the consumer a trial opportunity. Are the various brand success stories adopted by various companies and increase their share in the rural market. Okay, ma? So this is about rural market introduction, how characteristics, advantages, disadvantages, challenges in the rural marketing, and what are the strategies adopted by the business houses to increase their share share in the rural market. Okay, I hope you have understood. So our next topic is market segmentation, rural market segmentation. Okay. So what is segmentation? Can anyone read? Hello, Farheen or Yamini Yadav, Varshini, Varshini. Hello.